So our challenge was to find the top IP addresses that were responsible for the bad login attempts. First thing I'll do is set my filter to all time. That will give me the broadest view of our data. And then we want to narrow it down to just the secure log. So I'll click source type, Linux secure. I could have also just typed it up here. We want to narrow it down to just the failed login attempts. If we look at the log, we can see that there's a pretty consistent pattern. It says invalid user root, or another user sysadmin. There are a few different options. Invalid user from, and then an IP address. So the first thing we'll need to do is filter down to just these. So let's say just invalid user. Put in that keyword. And if you want to, you can say and here. I like to do that because I think it makes it more clear, but it's not required. So that's filtered down to a subset of our events. But you might notice that the issue here is that we have two results for each event, and that's not ideal. So let's change this and say closed by invalid user. So that'll narrow it down and ignore these ones. Closed by invalid user. Okay, so that's filtered it down a little bit more. So the next thing we'll need to do is get the IP address, but we don't have that available. So like we did in the last lesson, we can use the rex filter to do that. So I'll say pipe rex field equals underscore raw. And this time I'll actually spell out the whole regular expression. So we can say question mark client IP. And our regular expression doesn't need to be too precise because we're already matching this closed by invalid user. So we could actually just say something like a digit one or more times, followed by a dot, followed by a digit one or more times, dot, digit, dot, digit. The reason we can get away with this is we don't have to worry about some other part of this string matching. We could probably use an even simpler regular expression, like we could filter on whatever comes right before the word port. But I like this a little bit better. I think it's a little more precise. If you want to include that port in the filter, you could actually do it like this. After your capture group, give a space and then say port. Well, let's leave it the way it is. So now we can search again. And here we have client IP available to us. So let's just add that to our search query. And we'll say top limit equals 10 client IP. And that gives us the result we're looking for. Here's the top client IPs that are responsible for our bad login attempts.